Rightio guys, I'm sorry to have to say this, but Millsy, what's that?
We're busy.
Millsy, unfortunately, really liked the FD, so he's actually here at the moment to come pick it up. FD's been a great car for me, but it's time to finally say goodbye. I want to get a Falcon. Do you agree?
You're hilarious.
So guys, today the car is off to Elite Exhaust and Fabrications to go get the turbo and everything else done, all the fabrication work done. Millsy's currently here with his tow truck from Enthusiast Towing, so I'm going to leave the link to all of his stuff down below. If you guys don't know the Barra Bedford, he's the one that owns it, so he's pulled around a lot of awesome cars. He's saved my bacon a lot of times, so massive thank you to Millsy for coming to help out. And he's brought, I don't know whether this is the, no, this is the big truck. This is his truck. I just can't remember if this was the one that the Falcon went on when it caught fire and then went out to all the other places. I don't know. I should have had one of my stickers I could chuck on it, but Alright, so I'm doing some more stuff with the wideband that we did in yesterday's video. I actually haven't finished that video just yet. I have to go back home and finish it. But anyway, I'm going to follow Millsy down to Elite Exhaust so that way we can show Dan all the cool parts. And yeah, I'm also going to, well, I did have my laptop in here and I was going to log it, but I don't have any of my equipment here, so that's alright. We can deal with that. So, anyway, be good fun. I don't run over my plants. Right, so we're down to the Elite Exhaust in Brendale. We got Dan's beautiful R32 JZ Skyline here. I think saying it's actually a lot quicker than it was last time. I think he's running like 980 or something crazy, some crazy thing now. She looks good. Alright guys, so we just finished up at Elite Exhaust and Fabrication, and the car is going away for probably about a week or so. Dan's going to do all the fabrication there. I'm over the moon. I'm so excited for this all to happen. So yeah, anyway, we're going to head back home. Going to clean up a little bit of the garage because it is an absolute mess. And yeah, I dropped oil everywhere. Poor car.
3 days later.
So originally this part wasn't going to be in this video. It's currently Thursday. I picked the car up last night. That is correct. 2.5 days I took it to Dan. I left Dan's at 10 o'clock on Monday morning. I picked it up last night at 5:30 after I'd already had it finished for half a day. This guy with a turbo and an RX7 did all the gluing and all the stuff, and he made it all go together so perfectly in 2.5 days. I'm just going to dive right into it. I don't even know what to talk about right now. This thing is way too pretty. I'm just going to show you guys some beauty shots, and yeah, you guys are going to love it. That is correct, guys. The Hypergear ATR 45 SS2 is currently installed in the RX7. I never thought I would say that. This is This has happened way too quickly, and even though the car has been waiting and it's been so long off the road now, I think it's still too soon since getting this car to having it completely working with the complete new cooling system and the coils and the wheels and everything else that we have done to it. We picked this car up on the 23rd of December last year, and it has completely changed from the stock silver RS that we had. This thing here looks absolutely insane. So let's talk a little bit about the setup and what Dan went with and why we went with some of the things. So first of all, you guys can see that it's not a typical RX7 setup where you would normally have the outlet pipe for the turbo up here and then crossing over into the Greddy intercooler. So first of all, being the nice, beautiful Hypergear turbo that it is, you know, the turbo is one of those showpieces, I think, in the engine bay. And when I saw some setups with that turbo that was just crossed over with the intercooler piping, and the fact you couldn't see the turbo at all, I kind of didn't really like that setup. So I went around trying to find something a little bit different, and out of the sea of other intercooler setups and intercooler piping setups where every single thing crossed over, I saw one person or one photo, this really nice sort of really cool S-shaped pipe. Now, it's not the most direct route to the intercooler, but I definitely think it looks a whole lot better. So looking at this tiny little pipe, you can see that it comes out from a smaller pipe, goes into this nice little, makes it all nice and girthy. I don't know what you would call that pipe there, a step up. And it goes up into the Greddy intercooler right here. So it definitely looks a whole lot nicer, I think, in my opinion, in comparison to, you know, coming out here and then crossing over the top. Even though, once again, that is a more direct route, this isn't really going to make too much of a difference. Plus, it sort of hides everything out the way, which I really like. So that is a really nice looking bit of kit. And then not only that, I also saw on that photo right there, you know, when you have, I'm gonna quickly show you guys something. And for that, we need this pipe right here. Get that off so we don't scratch anything. Thank you. So when you have all the intercooler pipes installed, you know, this one here was, you know, curving up this way, this one here was curving down that way, and then the intake pipe they had was straight, like straight into here, and I honestly didn't like it at all. It kind of looked really dicky, the whole just, I don't know, the fact, like, I think they had the turbo pointing out that way with the V-band flange, and it was kind of just pointing straight. This one was all curvy, that one was all curvy. And you kind of see what I mean. It would kind of just look a little bit odd having that just a big straight intake pipe. So I told Dan, can you just make it curvy in some way or another? So what he did was he straightened up the turbo inside the engine bay so it just looked so much nicer in there. And then he created this awesome stainless, it looks like a 5-inch or a 6-inch intake. Looks like a, I don't even know what size it is. It looks like a 5 or 6-inch intake there with a nice big black Aeroflow pod filter right there, which is absolutely beautiful. So eventually what I'll do is I'll create like a little bit of an intake box kind of thing, which will wrap all the way around here as well, and then it'll come up just over at least the top of the intake, so that way, you know, if we ever get pulled over, we can say that it has a little bit of a box or something. So this looks absolutely insane. All the hose clamps, the fittings, the welds, like the welds look so incredible. They look so nice. So that's just the bit that we can see. So let's quickly go then to the turbo. The turbo is currently sitting on a T3 flange custom steam pipe manifold. So I don't know how well you guys will be able to see just down there, but everything is all heat wrapped. Everything looks absolutely insane. I wish I could show you guys. If I had a V-band turbo, I would literally just lift it up right now and I would be able to show you guys, but I can't. So that's completely fine. But yes, we have that sitting on a custom steam pipe manifold, which has all been heat wrapped, which is something I honestly didn't think that we were going to do, but he said that these make way too much heat. I'm also going to get a turbo blanket for this as well to try and keep all that heat down. So looking at this as well, he also did all of the oil lines and the coolant lines as well. So what he did was up here, the oil feed right there comes along. I'm probably going to route this down and underneath, like probably just route it down through here or something like that, underneath that little bit there. So yeah, we'll run that. Looks really nice on top of the turbo there with a 90-degree fitting. And then we also have another straight at the bottom there, and it goes back into the oil return down there. Now, if you guys remember, it had a couple of like 2-bolt flanges down the bottom of the oil return. What he did was he actually welded on a -10 fitting and then just did a braided -10 up. All of that, once again, has all been heat sleeved as well, so everything is covered with heat sleeving, which looks absolutely awesome. And then not only that, we also have the coolant feed in the side of the turbo right there, and a coolant return down there as well, which will go back down and back into that pipe just down there. So that all looks absolutely amazing. He's done such a good job writing all those lines. Looks absolutely wicked. Not only that, actually no, we'll talk about the next thing first, and that is the external wastegate. So you guys can see just down there we have a 50mm Turbo Smart wastegate, which sits just nice and pretty down beneath that dump pipe down there. And I don't know if you guys can see, but it's kind of mounted in a way that it's not straight off the manifold right there. It's at a little bit of an angle, which will help so we don't have any boost creep issues. Creates a nice easy path straight to the wastegate right there, which then you can see goes down to a not so plumb back in wastegate down there. I'll show you guys some of the photos from underneath the car right now so you guys can see exactly what it looks like. It looks beautiful. So then coming back up here, you guys can all see this beautiful 3-inch dump right here. So the outlet of the turbo, the V-bend outlet, is a 3-inch section, and because we're not plumbing back in the wastegate, we can just run a 3-inch straight back and we don't have to worry about any back pressure issues or anything. We can tune it to that, that's no worries at all. And I'll tell you guys exactly why Dan did this in a little bit, but yes, you guys can see a 3-inch dump that goes all the way down. It clears everything so nicely. Look at that fitment. It looks so good. And then he's also left me an O2 sensor bung right there as well, which is perfect. And then that just routes up to my 3-inch stainless custom exhaust all the way back through. And I got 2 mufflers on that system the whole way through, which is going to sound so good. So yeah, once again, beautiful stainless single piece intake with a T51R mod. This thing is going to sound insane. So there's a few things that I wanted to actually put on this car that unfortunately we couldn't, and I did ask Dan to do it, but Dan had a little bit of a look at the system and basically said no, that's not happening. So originally I thought this was a 3.5-inch exhaust system. I actually haven't been under the car at all. I've jacked it up that many times and I've done the cooling and everything else as well, but I've never actually been properly underneath the car and checked the exhaust system. All I've seen is that it's stainless and it has 2 mufflers. We do actually have a full custom 3-inch exhaust system on this RX7, which was perfect, and the rehousing of the turbo is also a 3-inch V-bend out, which means we're not restricting that flow whatsoever. Now, I did ask him if we were able to do the same thing as the Falcon, and we were able to create that external wastegate section where we could plumb it in and take it out if we wanted to, depending on whether we were going to keep it on the street or go to the track. The Falcon was a little bit of a different story simply because the exhaust wasn't really a restriction and we could just tune it with the wastegate plumbed in, and then we could take it out and it wouldn't really change much at all about the whole setup. So I can 100% understand that. And plus, barrows are barrows, they can handle a lot of different things. You know, if there was a little bit of a pressure difference, it's not too stressful. Going from a 3-inch dump and then plumbing it into a 3-inch exhaust, it might cause a little bit of back pressure issues. And so that was something that Dan wasn't really wanting to do. So when we finished up the system, he decided that we were just going to leave it external gate, which I can 100% understand. And to be honest, this car will only ever get out on weekends and to the track and up through the mountains. I'm not really too stressed about having it plumbed back in. I don't drive it every day. If it was something like the R33, I would most likely change around and probably just go with just plumb back in. But yes, the rest of the exhaust system and everything else on this RX7, we would most likely have to, if we wanted to be able to do the plumbed in, plumbed out section, I would most likely have to do 2 tunes, so that way I would change between the 2 when I took it out or plumbed it in or did everything. Plus, I would also want to change around the whole exhaust and go up a size, either to 3.5 or 4. So I can 100% understand his decision on why he did that. To be honest, it kind of makes it more fun. External gate rotaries sound so freaking good. It's going to make me drive it a lot nicer, to be honest. I noticed, especially when I had the Falcon, when I had the external gate, you know, the internal gate was great because you could kind of just get everywhere and do everything and it was no worries at all, even though this is still pretty loud. It also means you drive a little bit nicer on the road. You know, you're always, you know, wary worry of who else is around, what else is around you, are there any animals about or any kids about. And usually when I'd get on gate in the Falcon, it was always when I had my own road. There was no traffic around, there was no people around, there was no buildings around. It was just me, it was just the car, and there was a blank stretch of road in front of me. So I kind of feel like that's going to definitely help me drive this car a little bit nicer as well and not make anyone's ears bleed, because this is going to be a lot louder than the Falcon. Aside from that, I basically just gave Dan the sort of how exactly I wanted to run stuff, and he did his own thing. He is an absolute artist. So if you guys are in the Brisbane area, or potentially, as long as you're within Australia, everyone should be shipping their cars to Elite Exhaust and Fabrication and getting their stuff done. This looks honestly so insanely good. Everything fits so perfectly. All the lines were done so nicely. I can't wait to start this thing up. So what's left, you guys might ask? There is a few things actually we have to get done. So I could imagine we're probably not going to be able to start this thing once again. I might be able to turn it over so that way we can at least just get oil pressure and just make sure that that turbo is going to be receiving oil. That I can do on the Power FC, because I can just unplug all the injectors and the spark plugs and we can just wind it over until it gets oil pressure. But aside from that, we need to get a new ECU, which I really need to get done ASAP, and then also we need to get some new coil pack. I can just put the standard ones back in, not too stressed, but yes. But then also as well, I might have to change up my swirl pot ideas, because I wanted to see how the swirl pot was going to all fit in comparison to what's already there. So I might be trying to find the smallest swirl pot that I can, or AST delete is what a lot of people call them. So yeah, well, I don't know how much room we'll actually have. If it's kind of like the same size as this one right here, we might get away with it. In fact, we probably should be fine. But yeah, I'll work it all out a little bit later. But hey, if I get everything else sorted and I need to run the AST, I can always just plumb in the AST again. We actually have a few nice little places where we could probably put it, even somewhere down here as well, which would be perfect. Another thing that Dan did as well is he also put a vac line right here. So that vac line is also heat sleeved and it goes straight to the wastegate, so that way we can plumb in a Mac valve as well, which I have the Mac valve just sitting down here, which is very nice. So I'll probably run this valve potentially somewhere up here away from the heat, or somewhere down here away from the heat as well. I'm probably going to have to run a CAN lambda unit as well, because yeah, I'm actually going to try and start this thing myself as well. So getting a new ECU, putting a base map on it, and doing a few little things as well. I have a few people who are scattered around the world at the moment that are very interested in helping me set it all up myself as well. So that'll be a very cool video, starting this thing in the garage and bleeding it up and just letting it run for a little bit and hearing that T51R mod spool up. It's going to be an amazing video. But yes, so coming into the next few days, what can we do? So we can basically plumb up all of the vacuum lines, and as soon as we've pretty much done that, we can put the coils in, we can put the upper intake plenum on, everything can be bolted on, and then pretty much the only thing we have left to do is we have to get an ECU, we have to get a CAN lambda kit, have to find a place to do an IAT sensor thingy. I'll probably just drill and tap it, or just use the factory location, because they already use an IAT sensor, not a map sensor. So yes, there is a few things we can do. It's not too much further now. All of the hard work has been done. This just looks so fat. Man, I'm so happy. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.